Good afternoon. It's Friday. I apologise for the later start today. I was trying to alleviate a bit of a headache, so I decided to shut my eyes for a bit to see if that would help, and it has a little. So it was a worthy excuse of a job. It is Friday already. The week has flown by. Nothing much has got done, as always, as indeed I think I predicted would be true for my week off. I always have such great plans about how I should do this and how I should do that, and I never do them. Never, ever, ever. So, yeah, it's one of those things. Now, let's have a look. So, one thing I wanted to show you before we start today was, you may recall, tatting. Now, as you know, I am a very cack-handed tatter. I really struggled with the whole thread thing, and initially I blamed it on slightly autistic tendencies, but I seem to be managing to circumvent them now. So, here is my needle tatting thing in its current state, and I really do quite like it, and my plan is to have basically white hexagons interlaced with the purple border. So I will then go on and make, say, a white hexagon here, add a purple border, add a white hexagon, make a purple border, etc. and grow it out from there. What I'm going to do with it yet? But I do kind of like how drapey this is. Now, part of the reason I bring that up is because I have made a little purple one and a bigger blue one. Because, why you ask? I know these things are burning in your mind. Well, there isn't a lot of drape to it. Now, if I hold, it's hard to tell, but if I hold one of these, it's vaguely floppy. This kind of isn't. And this, hard as hell. This feels almost wire-like. It's too dense. It's too tight. It feels, I mean, it'd be great as a wall thing, because how it feels doesn't matter. But it feels very painful. Now, without giving the game away, I am at the end of making this one, which is a lot more, deformed is the right word for it at the moment. But that one, which is a lot more flexible. I can bend that one quite nicely. Now, as you know, I have been using, I'm not going to get it out, but a needle tatting thing, which is like 6 inches of basically bendable wire. Now, initially, I had this, and I didn't get on with that at all. In the slightest. Even these, so I went to pick it up and I just kind of let go. So I didn't get on with that. So I tried this. A slightly more determined shape of choice. And in part because this is held together with magnets. So you have, it sits a little too snugly on there, but you have an odd shaped thing which you put on the bottom, and then this clips on. And I thought that was quite clever, a bit of a gimmick, admittedly, but this is a little bit more. But I like it, but it was a bit much, because it is, well, size of a finger. So if you're trying to poke it up through something and pulling it back through something, plus of course it's got the hook on the end, it was a bit much. Enter in something from Etsy. Now, I mean, for comparison, it's tiny. Now, part of the advantage of this, of course, is when you're doing, you know, if you're trying to do a bit of this, if you're trying to pass it backwards and forwards, and I'm still struggling to get the thread thing right, because it's almost like there's three ways to do it. Because if you do this, if you kind of go this way, this seems to be underneath it, and so you have to be careful because then the thread's in the way. If you go, so if you do that, it's the wrong way round, right? Even though you went like this, it's the wrong way round. You have to make sure you went underneath, which requires quite a bit of thread. So you have to go kind of fully underneath, and then you can do a worky thing. But when you're doing the other one, you go over and under. Having a little widgy thing makes it quite easy. The only thing I dislike about this is that the bobbin in it is really, really tight, and it's hard to twist it. So if I try and turn it on, it's, I mean, you can hear it. And it's not because I'm holding it while I'm doing it. It is just really hard to twist it. So therefore it's also quite hard to untwist it. This is my only thing I'm finding with this. I also kind of would like it without the hook on the end. I know that, you know, oh, but they all want one. Yeah, but I'm not everybody. Now they do make one similar to this with like a little plastic kind of on the end, but that just strikes me as something that would break. So this is a 3D printed one, not that I have. Please do not get excited that I got a 3D printer. I did not get a 3D printer, but this is being 3D printed, and it's rather extortionate. But I bought it from someone on Etsy. And I have been able to make a thing. Look, see, there it is. I have made a thing. Now, having got to grips with the needle version of tatting, where basically you make loops over a needle and then pull it through. So by default you make chains, and to make a loop you just kind of go back upon yourself and kind of hook round it. With this, you always make a loop by default, and I haven't, and my brain keeps farting at how you would make a chain. Now, I get it, and when I look at it, I get it, and then 2 seconds later, I've forgotten it. So, I am struggling with it, and as I say, it's kind of a bit stiff. I might try a bit of Vaseline on it. But, in essence, I don't see how I would now make a chain from this, because worries, not Cal. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, this one's a bit, could have been a little bit tighter. Actually, I might be able to do something about that. Anyway, it's I kind of get it. So when I make the stitches coming off this, if I do this, I am building them up here. So for example, if I anchor that round there and do a bit of this, right? If I then do the whole, because you flip it's the flipping them that's important, which is kind of weird, because obviously this is the bit that melts my brain, is that if I go under and over and back through the hole and flip it, right, I've already made the loop. The fact that the loop is not important kind of concerns me. So if I now do the other half and do the over, under, it's a bit hard doing it on camera because, well, I'm not very good at it. I do find flipping it can be hard. So over, under, and then over. I need to go back through there, thank you. See, that was wrong. Got that wrong, so I need a bit more go. So that goes over, under. I can fit the first one. The second one I'm not so good at. So, but you see, if I do that, this is coming from the beginning. Therefore, when I pull this, this will just make a loop. So clearly I'm doing something wrong. And at the moment, my brain keeps farting as to how that can be. Because, well, there's not a lot of choices. Unless, somehow, you suddenly don't flip all the stitches with it. But then that doesn't make entire sense either. Because, well, you kind of do. So, I'd have to watch a video on how you do it with this, because it's not as easy on the brain cells as the needle, because the needle is always making a chain. This always seems to be making a loop. And I'm sure the nice tatting lady from here on Twitch would laugh at me. But it must be more obvious than I'm thinking. Because it's one of those things is that you find lots of videos and they spend hours talking about bits that are mind-numbingly obvious, like winding your thread on the bobbin. Just get it on your bobbin. Doesn't really matter. There's no right and wrong way. But how to make the actual chain and the loop, well, obviously the loop it likes doing, so we'll go with that. And obviously with a needle, the reverse is true, because you use one piece of thread, you don't really use you use both ends. Now, in lots of videos, I see them have two shuttles on the go, and I have seen this with the shuttle lady, in that she'll have one piece that's on the shuttle and one piece still attached to the ball. Whereas I'm generally starting with a chopped off piece. Now I don't do that with the needle one, but for some reason that is kind of my default thought when it comes to... So maybe the answer is because I have not left a really, really long tail. Hang on. After all, this is not going to be going up in the Louvre as an arts and craft amazing piece of work. This piece of green thread came with it, so let's assume that that goes to a ball and pretend that that goes to a ball. So we will, as I said, I just wish it wasn't quite so stiff. In fact, let me pop this out of here. It is just a tad too tight, in my humblest opinion. So let me go and quickly daub a bit of Vaseline on it, which will probably make it hideous, and I'll probably have to go and clean it forevermore, but go and get a bit of Vaseline on it. Hang on. Of course I have to store my Vaseline now out of Rory reach, which is easier said than done, as I'm sure you will appreciate. Probably slightly overdone it, but that seems a little better. Right, so let's pretend that bit goes to somewhere, and we've got this, so we will do the under thing, and we'll go under, over, through the hole, I'm just going to do a bunch. It's not exactly going to go for... I've forgotten which way around we were. I think it's that one next. Yes, it was. The thing I do struggle from with this is that, of course, it's making the loop smaller. You don't get that with needle tatting, you just wrap around the needle. And because it keeps making that smaller, it really is kind of pissing me off. Because you get to a point where you're kind of comfortable, 2 seconds later, it's far too small, your fingers are kind of, and you can't fit anything between your fingers. And that's still quite hard to move, but it is a bit easier to move. Oh look, I've made a peacock, didn't mean to. Oh well, whatevs. See, this is why the autistic bit of me doesn't get it. Because if you don't do it right, you can do the thing and all you do is wave it around in the air like you just don't care. And you have to hold the shuttle kind of like this. You can't just hold it. And it just kind of makes my brain hurt, I suppose. I know someone will go, oh, I just dropped it, of course, which I'm very good at. Someone will go, oh, but your thread's too long. Yeah, but if I make it much shorter, it doesn't seem to go round. You know, it's kind of, it's one of those catch-22. It's either too long or too short. I'm not very good at getting the right amount. That, and of course, it does seem to chew through this, even though this shouldn't really be much of a deal. So if we now shrink this down to a small loop, because it will be a small loop, because I didn't make it very big. Oh look, I managed to make the picot roughly halfway around. Go me. So I think what they're then saying is that this... See, that doesn't work either, because if I make this... Actually, it might work. Hang on. So if I do under, over... See, this is why you can't just hold it, because you've got to have it so it falls. Flip, you fuck. And you can't tell me if it was because it was too tight. Fuck off, spam bots. Why is there always a spam bot? That's that. And you've got to hold it flat, otherwise it goes wonky. So, this is where I have problems, because I can't hold that with these two and that over there, because that's just weird. So then I have to hold that with these two, which is fine, but then there isn't a lot of room for the thing, which is why this little stubby one is slightly better for me, because there's not so much of stubby to be handling through the thing. And by the sounds of it, they've killed off Spambot. See, that's twisted. That's wrong. Somehow I got that wrong. And of course the co-workers sent me a bloody message now. hold you, I need to have, so I need to have you kind of wrapped around here, like that. There we go. So that comes under, over, over. So this is, you have to have it right. So the thread's got to be coming out this side. Otherwise, when you go to do the over under, it's not in the right place. And if you, so it's got to be coming kind of from there, but then you have to kind of do this, which kind of makes it fall off. So it's kind of just weird to me, is that it's kind of always in the wrong place for me. Whatever I do seems to be the wrong place. And this is where I was a minute ago. This was all making sense. And you have to go round that way, that's why. And that's what I said. So you go around here and it's all in the wrong place. You go around here and it can be in the wrong place, but it can be in the right place at the same time. And so I really struggle with this. And now that didn't want to be that way. So you need to come. So you still need to come this way. But you're under, you're over under. And then it gets caught round the other finger, just to be really annoying. So this way it's alright, it doesn't tend to catch on the other hand. But it's when I'm doing this one that it tends to try and loop around that finger. Then of course I end up letting go and making my own life difficult. So now I've made a bit of a chain. See, that has made a bit of a chain. So I need the other tail. But you see, that in my head is really confusing. Because let's say I wanted to make another thing on the end of this now. I would expect to untie my finger to use this thread and go undery overy and try and snug it up. Something that I'm very much struggling with. And then overy undery. See, I got my finger caught again. And then under, over. Get off my finger. Over, under. It's either that or the thread twists and doesn't kind of and doesn't want to play ball and doesn't leave me any room to work. So get off my fingers. I almost wish like I didn't have fingers, but there was a way of holding this without using your fingers, because everything catches on the end of me fucking fingers. It's almost like I need a loop, a pin on my finger to wrap it round, but then there'd be two threads and that wouldn't be enough. So you just can't, I just don't seem to win. Whatever I'm doing, I don't seem to be doing the right thing, if you know what I mean. So that would be the start of my next chain. Oh, fuck off, Steve. I've always said this. How do they fucking know when I'm streaming? Because he always seems to manage to... He's basically not texted me all day. All day. Bear in mind, he only works till lunchtime. So, you know, he's managed not to text me all day. And now he's texting me about work. Just... fuck off. Now I need to do this one. Getting better at recognising which one I've done with this. because it's, well, it's a lot easier on the needle one, that's for sure. Because of course with this, because you have to flip stitches, it's easier to, and they twist on the thread, it's much easier to get confused. Fuck off with the fingers. It's much easier to be confused because you can't see which one it is as you're doing it until you've flipped it. Right, that should be enough. And I've screwed up somewhere. One of them's gone rock solid. It's that one there. Didn't flip properly, or it did, but it then unflipped, as the case may be. Maybe that was enough to pack its life. No. Somehow, one of you, well, you, even though you look right, they all look right. So this should slide, which it does. And this should slide, which it does. So why, when I pull on this, oh, it does slide now. There we go. Again, you don't get this problem with the needle lace one. It doesn't seem to do that, because of course you constantly wrap it around a big metal thing. You can't kind of get it inside out. So it's a very little one, but there you go, like a pair of headphones. So I guess this tail is the answer. You don't need the tail for a lot, except to make chains. Now I have seen a very beautiful thing that I fancy having a go at, which is two coloured. And you make two colours because one thread goes on the inside and one goes on the outside. So you do it with two coloured, you know, you kind of tie a knot at the beginning, and then you work one in one colour, one in the other colour, and that kind of works. So I might have a go at that. It's not overly hard, but basically it's little bubbles inside little hearts, but the bubbles are a different colour. So let's see what Steve wants. Hang on. He's been asked to do a weekend restore in a couple of weeks and he's not going to be around to do it. And I wrote, and if it isn't a click restore, then I don't really want to be doing it either. And he goes, no, it's not. And then gives, like, you know, 3 epics of how you do it. And it's like, not something I'd recommend doing without someone to call. And I'm like, why can't it be click and restore like fucking everything else? Oh, because it's special. No, shit. Shit is the word you're looking for. Surely. Yeah, even Microsoft SQL, I can go restore, and it fucking will, you know? Yay! So I'm just reading text from, well, not out loud. I'm just summarising text from a co-worker. Anyway, let's get down to this, or we will never get down to this. So, fuck off, Steve. So, we need a couple more at the end of here before we can make the big duty. So, don't need you momentarily. We do need you. I'm still kind of awkward as to whether I've got enough thread to get to the bottom of this without having to add more. I really thought I would, because I've got 4 meters. I mean, it sounds a ridiculously long amount of thread to be putting on it. And why is this even more wobbly than I normally expect it to be? It just seems more wobbly than normal. Maybe it's because I had a day off. Maybe that's all it is my brain cells having a day off. And, you know, because I've been battling the thing and playing some games and stuff. Hang on. What really doesn't help is, although this wobbles a little bit, I've got my fly zapper on the end, which wobbles quite easily in its base. So the wobbling of the table triggers the wobbling of the thing, and it's like this ominous thing trying to land on me at any given point, because it's swaying like a drunk in the breeze, right? And it's a bit triggering is the word. I know it's not. I don't use this word lightly, because it just constantly looks like it's going to fall on me, because it is swaying. It's like doing this, and you're like, and it does fall over a lot because the base is quite small, and it needs, frankly, to be replaced with like a £5 weight. That's what it actually needed to be. But of course, if you think about it, it's like a 24cm racket in a base that's 10 by 5. It's hardly surprising it's wobbly now, is it? However, that still does not excuse the fact that it's wobbly, and my brain cells keep seeing this horrendously wobbly thing trying to kill me in the corner of its eye. So, you know, hence my brain is kind of, you know, in the corner having a little meltdown, because, well, it can see it. I do like this table. It's great for my feet. It's not got, you know, while it's got a base on it, which I really thought would help keep the table stable. I do like the table concept. It's just, well, far too wobbly, and I don't quite understand. Well, I do understand why it wobbles, but it does seem overly wobbly. And she says, stick your hands underneath. It's not like the screws are loose. I may be able to tighten them a little bit, and I'll have a look at that later. I don't think I can. I don't think they're particularly loose, if you know what I mean. I mean, I might be able to tighten them a little bit, but it is only a little bit. And of course, the other thing, I think, with that racket is half the reason it doesn't charge very well is because it wobbles. And so it's not getting good contact with the charge. You're being annoying, getting longer. One thing I hadn't taken into account was the end of the knots need to be out the way. Not quite sure how to handle that. Should have done the knots on the back, really. What I can possibly use, fabric glue. Fabric glue and fingers. So, dollop of fabric glue on the end of my finger. And of course it's too much on the end of my fingernail. To place it underneath. And then get you and stick you underneath like that. And on the other end. So, I'll use it on this hand this time. Just want to hold them down, but they're not taking the hint, are they? No, not taking the hint. I should have put the pokey thing back in the glue. There we go. Let's grab a pin momentarily and stick you under there, you through the hole. There should be a hole about there. And properly put you down for a minute. And another pin. Kind of do the same with this end. So tuck you in and stick you in there to hold you down. Voila. I will come back to those. But yes, when I will have to start pricking the third one so that I can sew it onto the bottom of the second one from the other side and have the knots on the back, because clearly knots on the front is not a good plan. We have learned. Today I learned, rather unsurprisingly, that flapping bits of thread are liable to try and join in the lace work and get in the way. Should have thought that. Seems obvious now you think of it, kind of thing. See, to me, the table's level there, but it wants to be... Oh, fuck off then. Well, at least it can wobble now and you won't fall off, because you're already fallen off. Um, that's fair enough. Did that guy who wanted to learn how to make a net come and have a go? Well, the one thing that we all know is that explaining something to somebody who has no clues, when it seems solid in your head, but the moment you try and explain it to others, it doesn't always come out kind of right. So if you wanted at some point to grab me and try and explain it a bit, I mean, I'm not talking about actually show me and make me do it and all the rest of it, but, you know, kind of go through a little bit of the principle with me, and so to base, you know, is it going to make sense to somebody else kind of conversation, we can do that, because obviously your way of doing maths, for example, is a little bit unique, and that's fine, it works for you, but it may not make as much sense to somebody else. So with that in mind, just you know, offering just offering to kind of like be an experimental block in that sense. You are a bit, yeah. You're the kind of person who invented the new maths, because I don't know if you're aware, but when you and I did maths, they taught you to do like addition with, you know, take this and add this, carry the one or whatever, and, you know, while it may not make a lot of sense to you, it made sense to most of us. Well, now they don't do that shit, and well, now it's a fucking nightmare, frankly. I mean, I do maths. I get maths. I can explain maths in a whole bunch of different ways. I look at new maths and my brain goes, I'm sorry, you're doing what now? It's a bit like trying to make a cup of... It's a bit like the Americans making a cup of tea by sticking it in the microwave. There's that kind of... So you start the tea bag in... You know, it's almost like... So you put the milk in, and the sugar if you wanted any. Then you put the water in the tea bag. You've let it sit around for a bit. Now you're going to put it in the microwave. What are you doing? Why? What in God's name made you think that this was the best way to make your cup of tea? You know, it is that kind of moment. New maths is well, frankly, doesn't math a lot of the time. I've seen quite a few memes where they've gone, oh, this is what they're teaching kids. This is new maths. And it was something like 5 into 62 or something. Yeah, 5 into 62. So 5 into 62, well, obviously 5 goes into 6 once. And in old maths, there'd have been well, 1 left over. So that would have then, so you'd have written 1 at the top, right? And got a piece of paper. Well, exactly. I mean, if you really have to use a microwave, should emergencies require. So, let me do this thing for you. So, I haven't got anything else to write on. So, 5 into 62, right? So, 5 goes into 6 once, with 1 remaining. 5 goes into 12 twice, with 2 remaining, right? So, in old maths, not that you can overly see that. Something like that. No, it's 12.2, surely. I know that feeling. Right, so the thing I saw on a stream thing yesterday was 5 into 62. And they went 5 into 6 is 1. Yes, we agree with that. They then didn't mention the leftover bit. But they then decided it went into 2 6 times. So they wrote down 6. But they didn't decide the answer was 16. No, they added them together to decide that the answer is 7. So 5 goes into 62 according to new maths 7 times. I don't know how the 6 came about. The 6 was a mystery. And sorry, what was wrong with this? Because 5 goes in 6 because that's 10. So, you could do it the old way. So 5 goes into 6. That gives you 5 there. So that leaves you with 1. And then you bring down the 2. So you've got 12. 5 goes into that twice. So you've written your 1 there. You've then got your twice. And then you've got 10. Take that away is 2. So now you've got 20. You're right. Perfect. It's 4. Well, no, it goes in 67 only if you do like 1 over 5 or something, right? Because, of course, as you say, you've got a bit left over and you're just left sitting there going, sorry, but yeah, you're right, it is, it's not 12.2, of course it is 12.4, because 5, because then you've then got 20. So 5 into 20. Yeah. It is. It's a ridiculous. And I know that this is not. I mean, this seems really complicated. But in a lot of ways, no, it's not. You only ever do. No. And you're kind of going, oh, well, you do this and you add, you bud, it's like, and you're kind of going, what are you going to do when you've got actual complicated things to do sums with? How how does new maths stand up to algebra, right? How the fuck does that work? And I do understand that having alternative. Exactly. It is one of those kind of moments where you're left sitting there going, I get it that you wanted to have alternative ways of explaining things for people who did not get the standard way of thinking, and that's fine. That I can go with. But when you multiply things by random numbers and take off random chunks and you're sitting there going, can't you just work it out? I mean, can't you just, it's It's the same with, you know, multiplication. There was one thing that I did see on multiplication that I do wish they'd taught. Sorry, it hasn't got my address on it. But I do wish that they'd taught when I was at school. So, I know I'm running out of space. Bear with me. Let's zoom in a bit because you probably can't see very well. Right. Move it down a bit. Right. If we were doing, I know, 123 times 456, right? That's a horrendous amount of calculations. So we've got 18, carry the 1, 2, 5 12s are 60, carrying the 6. So that gives you, that makes that 3, doesn't it? So that's 3, it's not 60. 3 5s are 15, carry the 1. And then you've got 2 times 4 is 8. Then you go 2 5s are 10, carry the 1, which gives you 8 again. Sorry, 2 5s, yeah. Sorry, what? 2 5s are 10. So that's the thing, and that gives you a 1. And then 4 3s are 12. And then 4 1 4 4. Ah, but you get the gist. Here's an even easier way. 1 2 3. And then you do 4 of these. I made it far too small. So let's make this a lot longer. Hang on. Nip, 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 nip. 5. 1 2 3 4 5. And then I definitely made it too small. 1 2 3 5 6. Now it works basically the same way this does, but you it is in terms of visual people. So I picked the wrong numbers, okay? I haven't really got anything I can write on. I don't have paper. That'll do. Right. So let's pick a smaller number. I know, 42 times 72, right? So you do 1 2 3 4. Well, no, it's just that I was running out of fucking paper. Anyway, and then you do 7. Again, picking annoying numbers, of course. Do 3 4 5 6 7 and 2. Well, now you've got 1 2 3. So you count the number of joins. Now I am going to cheat and kind of point out that I'm not actually going to count, because you count where all the crosses are. So the first row gives you 4, so we've got 7 times 4, which we know is 28, right? You've then got this one, which is 2 times that, so that's 14 plus, and 2, that's 8. And then you've got 4. So the answer is, so that's 22. So you have 28, 22, 4. And it's not quite that simple, because I think you add those two together. But you add the crossings over. So basically it does the long multiplication in a visual way. I've never actually sat down and done it, you know, in hard graft manner, but it does kind of work out, because it does doing it the hard way. So 4 8 14 so 4 12, which doesn't add up to the same number anyways. What do you mean 72 should be on top? What do you mean 72 should be on top? Doesn't multiplication doesn't matter order. Or do you... Yeah, it shouldn't matter to you. Yeah, but naughty Kel, you struggle to add up two numbers. No offence, dude. And... But this way, if they taught this and how this actually works, because bear in mind no one's ever actually taught me it, but if they taught that at school, that is this but done in a visual manner. So I obviously screwed it up by not adding things up correctly there, right? And in fact, I'm pretty sure I've seen these. Yeah, because that gets added to that, which gives you 30, so you get 30, 24. So that one shunts over. You see, and that is part of the reason I think that there's a lot of common sense to it. Because other than I screwed up, so I knew that I had 28, 20, 22 and 4, and I hadn't worked out that this had to be added to that one, but now I've seen the answer, yes, I know that's... So it worked out. And it takes up maybe a lot less space than doing... It's off the thing. Why is it that no matter where I put the fucking piece of paper, it always seems to be off the camera? Because I naturally look here, which of course is off screen. So you've got your 4 parts, and when I added them up, I forgot that the 2 from there had to be added to there. But you end up with the right number, and it is quite a compact area you can do it in, right? But it is doing long mathematics, long multiplication, like we were taught when we were younger. But they don't do that anymore. They do random shit. And they don't even do, I know, round that down to... They don't even do kind of take the 2s off and do them later or something. No, they do weirdy shit like pick 8 and multiply that out, and what good's that fucking doing? And it the line method does have a lot of, as I say, I think, you know, if you're looking in terms to teach mathematics and you've got people who need to understand the basics of mathematics, after all, mathematics is purely addition, and I will die on that hill. If you struggle with doing this is an alternative, and that's great. But this whole new mathematics horse shit that they've come up with, how fucking high were they when they did that? How many drugs and beers had they had? I mean, that's good. Well, yeah, okay, you need kind of like 68 sheets of paper to work that out. But then, to be honest, you still need half a tree to do the long multiplication. So, you know. To be honest, it isn't as bad as it sounds. But yeah, I just kind of... Now, you see, here's something that I would do to make that shorter. Let me explain. Because you picked 555, I would cheat. Put my pen down. So, you did 958,762 times 555, right? So 5 and that is 10. 5 and carry the 1. 5, 6 5s are 30, so that's 1, carry 3. 5 7s are 35, so that's 38. 5 8s 40, it's 0, carry 4. 5 5s are 25, 25, carry 2. 5 9s are 45, so that's 7 and 4. Right? And so you've done that. You've done that. You now need to do 50, so you write it there. 0, 1, 8, 9, 7. I've missed a number. 0, 0, 9, 7, 4. And then obviously the same again. So you have 0, 0, 0, 1, 8, 0, 9, 7, 4. Now you add them up. 0, 1, 9, 9, 7, 1, 0, 1, 10, yeah. Doing it during the line method, yeah, you need one fuck of a load of 9s, that has to be said. But knowing that all of them above a certain number are times by 5, it does help, but yeah. But I mean, you can see how the line thing works looking at that, because you offset them. By the way, welcome to Perfect. So what character are you going to play in Path of Exile 2 later then, Perfect? I would like to point out to everybody that when I play Monsters and Memories, Perfect and I spend a lot of our time helping everybody else do all the really simple things. So, discussing complicated maths is quite a nice pleasure. Yeah, I've never grouped in Path of Exile. Mind you, I don't group in Monsters and Memories. So, I am not a grouping girl. It's just, I was talking about this yesterday. It's just not something I've ever done, and it's down to lack of self-confidence, to be honest. In that I don't log in and assume anybody in their right mind would want to play with me. No, keep it clean. So I go off and do my own thing. And if I go somewhere to do something and it's already taken, oh well, never mind, I wander off and go somewhere else. And I repeat until I found a thing I can do, and then I go, I'll happily do that. And I might get bored of it and go back and see if the other people have sodded off yet. And if they haven't, I'll go and find something else to do. And because there's always something else to do. And part of the problem I had during the playtest in Monsters and Memories was that, you know, as a starting out character, I know things I wanted to do. So I wanted to collect, say, crafting materials. But because there were 1,000 other people trying to collect crafting materials, well, finding them was getting really difficult. Because the skellies were instantly dead, so no cloth for you. I wasn't high enough level because, you know, level 1. So I wasn't a high enough level to go and get anything like wool or leather or, you know, as an alternative. So, well, then you're stuck with the fact that so you go, okay, well, maybe I'll go and do herbs. Well, herbs are rare as hen's teeth, frankly. There seem to be about 12 per zone. And you know, same with the mining nodes, is that some are buggers literally standing on it, waiting for it to repop. And the only thing you can collect is a bit of wood, which is fine, because you know, the wood does repop quite quick, it seems. And you can go and make some torches. But do you really want to spend 3 days making torches? Not really. Just going to sort this bobbin out a bit. So yeah, hence it's easier to help people than it is to try and play the game. Which, you know, like I said to you yesterday, I do worry a little bit for me when the game goes live, in the sense of I'm not going to be able to play it for a while because I've got too many manners to, just go ahead and do something. Because, if someone looks like they're going to be going, that's my thing, then I'll leave them to it, because I don't want to be accused of kill stealing or nicking their shit, or I might laugh at them if they die, but it's just, I find it very difficult when the servers are busy to, the early play tests that we had, there was always space for people like me because, well, there weren't that many people on it, and too many people were moaning about performance and lag, and well, I can cope with that, so, go me, I go on with it, but not everybody does. So I am looking for... I didn't realise it didn't start till Monday. I really assumed that the playtest would have started tonight. I'm kind of glad it's not, because it means we get to play 3 days of Path of Exile before the joys. People like Angormus will have finished like 6 times over, and to be fair, I have never got to mapping on Path of Exile 2. I suck. I enjoy it, but I suck. But that's me in a lot of games, to be honest. I do feel a little bit for people who are starting Path of Exile, because as someone, although I've been playing for a while now, I only dabble. I'm hardly, I'd never say I'm any good at it. And but everyone always talks about, as you've said, right? You're thinking of doing Titan and Gemling, right? The problem is if you look at a lot of build guides, they say, right, how to build a Titan, how to this. What the first thing they don't tell you when you're new and stupid is, what class turns into that? They always talk about, oh, I'm going to go for Chronomancer. Okay, great. What do you start that as? Because for people who are new, it's not, a bit like the Monster Memories, creation screen. It's not like it tells you on there what the stats mean, and it doesn't tell you on the start screen what ascendancies you can get from either. So it's not like, so for those starting out, they're already on the back foot because they don't know what their options are later. And so they hear about all these things that they could be, but it's not always clear for those of us who are new, where to start. Now, I do know where most of them are. But even so, I still... And that's the thing, is that, if you're going to build a, noob's guide you need to include that information. So if you say to them, this is a noob's guide to Titan, there's no point saying go and start a sorcerer, because they're not going to know if that's... They don't know, you know, if you don't know what a Titan stems from, well, you're sitting there at the start screen going, well, I can't even do part 1, and inevitably they always seem to think, yeah, I think Lich is witch, Bludge Mage is sorceress, but at the same time, while you can make an educated guess, you can still be wrong. I mean, the name Gemling, well, it could be fucking anything. That doesn't scream... I mean, you could possibly go rogue, because maybe they steal all the gems, but you... It's not... The name does not suggest where to start. At least witch and necromancer, which you generally associate with a lich, is closer, but still a bit tenuous, and it is I do feel that while they, you know, said about making Path of Exile 2 easier for new people, one of the things that's always frustrated me is that whenever you read the, you know, how to be a gemling, how to be a smith kataba, how to be any of these things, they all treat you like you've got a character that can go and farm gear for you. No, some of it. I mean, I get and that's the difference between. I mean, I've always said this about documentation for work, right? In the documentation I do for work, I'm doing... Yeah. So, you know, Invoker, as you say, 1,000 times over, you expect it to be a sorceress. Because, well, you expect it to be kind of fiery. You know, they're not, you know, they have made Path of Exile 2 better for newer players. There is a lot of the stress that came with Path of Exile 1 of having to match the right fucking gem colour sockets and all of that shenanigans. But despite having played many hours, and I dread to think how many hours, of Path of Exile 2, I will point out I got to the final dude in Act 3 and have not beaten him. So I know that I would have to repeat it before I get to maps on hard, which clearly I would fail at because I really struggled with the boss dudes. I didn't do so badly with the rest of the map, but the boss dudes fucking whip my ass every time. And then my patience goes and I have to put it down for a bit. But I do find that, well, yeah, I mean, I do feel that they've missed, like everything. I mean, you know, I occasionally laugh at some of the questions in in Monsters and Memories. But if you've never played anything like it, you've never, you know, if the only game you ever played was, you know, Candy Crush or something, right? How would you know what the stats did? I mean, obviously, the stats are good, but, you know, having the most intelligent warrior ever isn't going to do you any favours, right? So, but we know that. But they wouldn't. And to me, this is where I think a lot of the games forget. Now, I do think Monsters and Memories is different because they are aiming to provide a game for those of us who remember the before times and kind of want to relive a bit of the before times, but we've done the before times, so we need new before times, and so they're different, but they're like the before times, right? And I get that, because, well, that's kind of the aim of the game. With something like Path of Exile 2, I hadn't really played an ARPG. I'd done a bit of Warcraft, I'd done a bit of Diablo, I did Diablo 4, thought it was shit. I didn't really play the previous. I did a bit of Neverwinter Nights, and I kind of didn't get on with them that well. I mean, I didn't hate them, but they were not like EverQuest. I did not spend 20 years of my life playing them. I played them for a couple of weeks, maybe, on and off, and then kind of, yeah, I've done now, bored. I get the idea, but it's just repetition of the same shit. And to be fair, I do remember the first character I got an epic on EverQuest was my bard. Now, when I'd started out playing EverQuest, bards did not overly appeal. Now, I will say, I do occasionally suffer from minor RSI, and some of that is from playing EverQuest. By the way, you can play with the camera, so if I forget to move it, you can play with the camera, you know. But when it comes down to it, the EverQuest had just so much to do, so many zones. Even in the beginning, there were a lot of zones, and you know, if you look at all the zone files that your PC has for playing EverQuest, can you honestly say you've been to all of them? Doubt it. There are going to be zones you go, I've never actually been there. And it's not because you avoided it. Maybe you did. But, you know, not necessarily because you avoided it. It's just because, well, I used to go here instead. I liked it. I got into the swing of this one, so I went there. And you had, like, a habit of where you go. And so, well, you're kind of stuck to your habit. And when they brought out a new expansion, yes, you'd go and see the new zones in the new expansion, for example. And maybe you'd kind of chop out... That's right, my brain's just fired. There we go. Chop out one of your old zones for levelling and insert one of the new zones for levelling. But it kind of... You almost had like this pattern. But there was so much in EverQuest that was random that, you know, even if you intentionally set about trying to level two characters, you know, you gave them the same face, you made the same class, the same race, the same face, the same coloured hair, everything. By level 5, they were different characters. And it's almost like they had their own personalities. And I always kind of... Part of the reason I've always had so many alts was because... Not that I'm schizophrenic, but it was like having different characters for different moods or different personalities, perhaps. But certainly for different moods. So if you weren't in the mood for... Because some days... You really do want the simple job of healing. Other days, no you don't. Other days, I don't want to have to heal nobody, because I don't want people swearing because I, was doom scrolling and forgot to hit heal, right? or they did something dumb, or the mobs let upon them, and suddenly it's all my fault they died, you know. We don't need no Leroy Jenkins, right? And so, with that in mind, I've never kind of gravitated to healer classes. I have played healer classes. I was a shaman. I had a very successful shaman in EverQuest for years. I kept many people alive for a while. I did have some friends on EverQuest, and I think that was part of the other reason that I kept with EverQuest, was that there was a whole group of people who... Fuck off. I'm busy. There was a whole group of people on the test server who I used to run into a lot, and we'd play, we'd group generally together, and it wasn't like this conscious thing. It wasn't like, you know, looking for group. Oh, it's you again. No, 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 no. They were Swedish, and oh, I don't care what it is, Rach. I'm busy. I'm going to feel guilty that I've rejected her phone calls twice. And well, I haven't rejected her, I sent it to voicemail. And I'm going to feel slightly guilty, because the fact that she rang back does suggest that she feels it was important. But at the same time, it's probably busy later, you know? What time is it? 5:30. Or do you want to go on a dog walk or something? It's like busy. Right, let's do some of this. So... why do I feel like I got that round the wrong way? The only problem with having to work with them as pairs, it doesn't make it, makes it more complicated. There we go. Let me snug everybody down. Like that. And then we go backwards. So we go over, under, over, under. That doesn't feel right. There it is. Now I've just confused myself. So you were under that one, over that one, under that one, over. No, you stop there. Now, is that right? I only seem to have... You're not right, something not right with you. So I got you wrong somehow. So you should go. So normally it goes under this one, over that one, under this one, over that one. That's better. That's right, my brain's doing a usual Liz fart on that one. Then we do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. What's the matter, dogs? Where's Rory? Oh, there he is. So it's not like he's escaped into the universe. No. You're just being annoying. You are. Oh. You are, little madam. Oh! Dog! You are a dog. Yes. I see you. How could I not? 20-something kilos standing on me. What? I thought it was going to be her, but it's not. It's a co-worker. I can ignore that. What? Did I twist those? I think I did. Looks like I did. Now, because this is going to be a good plan, we're going to roll these back a bit, take you out and go, and stick you down. Missed. Hey, me. No, shut up! And last time I checked, the bloody app for the camera wasn't working. Shut up! Yeah, it just sits there, kind of spinning away. Right, because now we can put some of you in here. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we put 3 of you in here. 1, 2, 3. Now you lot can move over there, and I can put you on a stick because we're done for a minute. You can sit out of the way. Now, you come towards the bottom, so we're done with you. Right, now we need you and you. We need to shorten you because you're being annoying. Not sitting with your friend. Okay. Pulley, 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 pulley. Shorter because you're being silly too. No, that's not right. Back we go. Screwed up there. So, you need to be a bit further away because it's confusing. That's better. I didn't twist them. Did I not twist them? Yes, I did twist them. I just don't look it. Okay. Amy, can you not? Amy, enough! It is right at the bottom. Now we need some of these. So we go down here like this. You. Oh, eat. Oh, eat. Oh. Well, we have made it to the bottom of the big motif. Look. Come on. So let's put you in your stick. Does anyone else find this? So, for example, I have an account on eBay and I have one on Etsy, and obviously I've got an Amazon account, and I've got, I've got various accounts. But it's like verbal diarrhea, the lot of them. Amy, you're not helping. Literally a minute ago, ping, we're updating our terms of service from Etsy. Ping, from your corner of Etsy. Well, I don't have a corner of Etsy, I just buy random shit off it. And they inevitably send me shit I would never buy in a million years. So, if I grab my phone. Lion Gums has gone live. So, see what it says. Oh, it has actually picked your favourites are still fantastic. Now, these... Now, of course, it doesn't work if I do that. But if you look in the top right-hand corner, I know it's got bars on it for some reason. My phone's got bars on it today. Those are the bobbins that I'm really tempted by for working on a bolster pillow. Now, how do they work? Well, that's a really good question. What makes them different? That's also a good question. So, it is not uncommon in Germany to use bobbins that have hats. I've got some somewhere. One of my many boxes of bobbins contains bobbins with hats. Hang on. Quickly see if that box has got them in or not. Hang on. See, for all of those who dispute my methods of chaos, I was right. So, this is the bobbin, and it looks really kind of sad and weird. But the bobbins actually have hats, and that the string goes through the bobbin and out the other end like this. So I'm just trying to catch the end of the string, because of course normally it's attached to something, so bear with me. I need to put the string in first. There we go. So, the bobbin, you don't handle the thread. You don't see the thread. The thread purely comes out as like this magical mystery tool out from under the bobbin. You then loop it over the top as you would normally, and you then work with your bobbin like this. Dangle, dangle. Right. But the hat hides the bobbin. Right. And I love these. These are really cool. I've got a bunch of these. Actually, I've got a couple of bags of these. So, I've got a bunch of these. And I really do like them. So, what's the difference between these and the ones I just showed you? Well, the ones I just showed you take the hat to a new level. Put these back before I forget. So, the other ones, they work more like a lip seal. Now, I do mean that, in that what you do is the hat has got two holes in it and is kind of sealed off, in that it is like a lip seal hat. It goes over the top entirely. It doesn't have a hole where it comes out from the hole. No, it goes over the top. And what happens is at the side, you have the thread that goes through. There must be a gap nearer the top or something. Anyway, it's either that or it runs long. Anyway, what happens is you thread the thread round an internal bobbin, and then you can make it looser or tighter depending on which way you twist it. and the hat stays on the bobbin in a much is whereas that one, those ones, they kind of balance on top. Rory, stop licking my fucking hands, little man. If you want a hug, have a hug. But I don't always want to have my hands licked, little man. You should know that. And I don't mind having my face licked, but again, only so much. Ow, claws, you little fuck. If you want to do that to me, you're gonna have to let me trim them. They're like, seriously, they're like this, and which is why you end up with the scratches that I've got from little Rory claws. Yeah. Yes. And you won't even let me take the clawy bits off, let alone, you know, meatier bits. And you don't seem to wear them down either. I don't know how you do it, but it must be painful on your feet, my man. It must be. It really should be. But you get really upset if I try and trim them, don't you? If I so much as wave anything near you that looks like a claw trimming contraption, you get very upset. You do. You love me dearly as long as I'm not trimming your claws. But those bobbins are not cheap. Let me find them on Etsy. Hang on. I'll picks for you. There we go. Inspiration, favourites. Should be in here somewhere. Right, covered bobbin. So here you can see, if you look at this picture, you can see that they are, well, they're flush. There's like the little kind of twisty bit for the bottom of the lip still at the bottom. And then, but they're £8.35 for a single bobbin. Now, my general rule of thumb is £1. But I am tempted to get some. And that's, of course, not taking into account see how much postage would be. You've got to be shitting me. No. So, if I ordered 8 of them, because that's the most I can pick, that costs £55.60. £51 delivery. So the total would be, for 8 individual bobbins, £128.85. The words fucking off come to mind. Seriously. It's not even a pair. And there's no way it costs 51 quid. Plus, of course, I'd have to pay taxes on it. I must admit, I thought the Lace Museum was not in America. Apparently it's in California. Okay. Can't I spell for more than 2 seconds? I wasn't finished typing! I'm gonna see if there was a... And they don't seem to be mentioned anywhere else. Everything. Ping, ping. Oh, eBay. It's verbal diarrhea. Don't know if I get on my nerves. See, I'd really like some because I think they look they're really interesting. But I just can't justify anything like that level of cost for a sodding bobbin. I mean, Christ, I don't even think gold ones would be that expensive. So frustrating. And then you get, ping, a book that you once showed interest in is back in print. Awesome. Any book with 96 pages should not cost €84. I'm not paying £1 a page for a book that's just been reprinted. It's not reworked, it's not remastered, it's not retranslated, because bear in mind it's in Finnish, so I won't speak it. No. This is purely, they have reprinted it. Oh, Amy! Jesus, you'd think I was killing them or something, wouldn't you? Except you can see both my hands are here. Amy! I'm gonna say, most likely, man has come to do next door's gun. But with app not working, which I could try rebooting my phone. Shouldn't need to, but we can reboot phone for good measure. 1 for 7. There we go. Let's move that out there. I need you to shut up. I haven't got the patience. I really haven't. There's a van outside the house. I don't think it's for me. No, he's wandering off somewhere else. They do that around here. There's only 3 houses in this road, and it's amazing how much traffic actually comes into this road, considering we are a dead end. Amy! Leave the post box alone! What's worse is when they then sit there like having their lunch or something, and the dogs are going nuts, and it's almost like I want to go outside and say, excuse me, can you just off and do that somewhere else? Because first of all, this is a private road, and you know, you're not entitled to be here unless you're delivering. You delivered and sod off. Secondly, you're driving my dogs up the wall, which is driving me up the wall, and at this rate, you're going to cop it, so if you don't want to cop it, please move somewhere else. They have now gone, but the dogs, of course, are still all excited. Dogs, can you stop? Just for a little bit. Just be quiet. The nasty man of delivery has left the road. He has. Yes. One thing that also makes me laugh with this camera app is that the cameras keep a video of all the movement that it detects in my garden. And I have very specifically set it up to only be in my garden. However, it is quite surprising how much it tells me my camera's offline, but at the same time it's capturing all the movement, so it's clearly not offline, but having rebooted, it's still doing the spinny thing. I'm wondering if they've changed the ports they used, and my port thing is blocking it, because I have a pie hole which blocks some of the clients. Query, and I want filtering. What's your IP address, phone? Do. 104. While there are some level of blocking going on, why would it? That's not this. It's not this one. That must be. Hang on, clients. It can't be this one. No, it's not. That's... Right, now I need to find lists, no, query 104, there we go. Try logging in again then. Interesting. Fine. We shall turn you off then, because you are being unhelpful. Seems to be getting confused and not seeing data. It's not trying to go out on the internet. Might be why it's not logging in then. It ain't been going anywhere. I don't know what's wrong with it. It's been... I don't feel like it's even trying. Oh, shush! Excuse me. Now that's not the name of it. I am going to get cross with you in a minute. You need to shut up. Oh. Shut off, dog. Shut up, Amy. Oh, she's going to sell her house. Probably means she's going to go and live in her parents' house. give up. I don't know what's wrong with it. It's just not. It's just being shit. I could uninstall it and reinstall it, but then there's a big part of you go, that's why should I? It was working yesterday. I think that's always been my problem with a lot of the things. You get the, oh well, if it's not working, if you tried uninstalling it and reinstalling it, why should I? It was working until you broke it. 4, 5, 6. You need one of you. You can have that one. There you go. You can go in here for a minute. Hope to have done a lot more of this today, but it doesn't feel like we've achieved a lot today. Doesn't help. You know how I've always been very fussy about the angle of my pillow. Not that angle. Although why that's now such a strange angle, I don't know. The tilt of it. It's tilting that way. Quite a bit, I feel. Actually, it says not. Oh, it's tilted quite a lot back. No, it says it should be far more than it is, which is odd because usually I've been quite right when I've felt that it's tilted. Oh well. Whatever. I know what I was doing. I was coming to add more to this stick, wasn't I? Which doesn't help that this stick's elastic feels... This wobbling table is beginning to get on my nerves. I'll add 3 to it. 1, 2, 3. You can go out the way. Move you all round. Go over that. Amy, enough with the bloody noise. If you were a child, you'd have got slapped by now. We have spoken about the whining. Come here. Come lie down and shut up. Amy, come lie down. Shut up. That's a good girl. You lie down. You are the whiniest of dog. You are. Just settle down. Chill out, dear. No. I can hear you. No. Dogs should be seen and not heard when there's no burglars. What did I say? What did we discuss? I mean, don't get me wrong. I am the first person to agree that when there's something out there and your dog makes a noise, that's them doing the job, that's fine, that's how it is. But when there's nothing there, shut the fuck up. She's not even it's not like she's barking because she's playing and, you know, they're just barking and having a laugh, because I'd accept that because they'd be having a laugh. She's just whining. And it's one of those, I don't know what you want, I don't know what you're trying to say, so can you just not? It's not helping anybody. It's not like there's even a cat fight going on, you know? Makes me think I didn't twist those. I didn't. Bad me. Bad me. So, let's undo all of this then. About the 5th mail I've had from LinkedIn today as well. As I said, they've all got like verbal diarrhea. Just because I agreed for you to, email me about something doesn't mean you need to email me about everything. It's the same as you buy off a random site for someone's birthday, and for the next 30 years you kind of get bombarded with oh, but you must want this. No. What in the name of mercy makes you think I want that? Well, because you bought something from us once. Yeah, it was a present for a dude that I don't speak to anymore. So no, I don't need it. Oh, but you must want this. It's really interesting. No, you misunderstand, my friend. I never wanted it. I bought it for somebody else. There almost needs to be, when a buying box, are you buying this on behalf of someone else and so never want to hear from us? Do not want to register on this website and basically, unless you buy something else from us, please never contact me option, you know? Because I seem to get so many emails. And I remember writing to one company, they went bust actually, which is kind of interesting. Then they kind of came back, but then they were still bust. And they went from being this great crafting tutor website to being shit and dying a death. They had a sale on. So like, let's say there's going to be a sale next week. So I'd have had a mail say Monday this week. Next week we're running a sale. Okay, fair enough. Tuesday. Next Monday the sale's going to start. I know you told me that yesterday. But on Wednesday. But on Monday the sale will start. Yeah, I know. You kind of mentioned it every day so far. And then kind of like come Monday, by the time you've had it every day for the last week. Our sale starts this morning. Great. Our sale started. You're missing out on deals in our sales. No, I'm fucking not. And they've read back, oh, no, we only mail you once a day, so I sent her a list. Oh, that's because you're on multiple lists. Well, I don't know how. I've only got one account on your website, and I've only signed up for one thing. Oh, but you've bought various categories. Right. So you get one mail per category. You just said I should only be getting one mail a day. It's also amazing the number of companies who collect your data, so have like my full address, right? And then send me stuff only valid for America. Well, my email ends in .co.uk. What part of that suggests America? Secondly, my address says United Kingdom. Again, kind of pretty sure that United Kingdom is not a state of America. Although, you know, occasionally you can kind of be questioning this, it still is not officially a state of America. So why is it then that, you know, despite all of this, they would rather spam everybody from every country rather than target their things? Because TechSmith used to do it. Now, TechSmith make a great screen grabbing tool called Snagit, and which has kind of been superseded now by the built-in one for Windows. You don't really need to buy it anymore, but it used to be really, really good for that. And also a thing called Camtasia, which was a pretty good, you know, video editing tool. I quite liked it. It had some limitations, but it was pretty cool. And all of these kind of things. And they'd write to me, oh, for like $9.99, you can upgrade your Camtasia to, you know, to the latest version. Great. So I'd log in. No, I can't. Well, first of all, it's $9.99 plus tax. Secondly, it's not $9.99 because you've converted it, and I don't know where the hell you're getting your conversions from, but it ended up the $9.99 upgrade would cost me £25. Well, $9.99 American is about £8 UK. That's considerable distance. Oh, well, it's the taxes. No, that's only 20%. Well, it's 17.5. And you're kind of going, oh, then it must, you know, it's bad exchange rates. Why? Everyone else's exchange rates are all right. Oh, well, but they just kept kind of lying as to why their website basically fleeced you if you were not American. Funnily enough, I kind of stopped upgrading round about then, to be honest. But again, it would always be, oh, you get the free delivery. Yeah, you have to click on this, then that, and the other, and then log into this, and then click on that, and agree to this, and, oh yeah, only valid in America. Well, I'm not in America, you know? In this day and age, you really can't run a query. It's like the advert for time-wasting games on Facebook or whatever. Not the games are on Facebook, but the adverts are on Facebook. Oh, you must want to, you know, it's not Candy Crush, but, you know, you must want to play Candy Crush 6.3. No, not really. Well, then you must want to play Bingo. No, not really. 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, you must want to play this. Oh. Or this. Now, that's the same game with just a different advert. And you say to it, I do not want to see these ads anymore from this company. 2 minutes later, there's an ad from that company. And you can't report it as spam because, well, it's not spam, but it is spam. Because I've already said to you, do not show me anything from this company. And you are. How do I report you for not following the rules that you've outlined as an agreement with me, which is, I have the right to say I am not interested? It does seem that the ratio of ads to everything these days is terribly high. What did we say about whining? You clumsy fucking bat. You really are. Be 6 o'clock then. Let's put you in stick. I need 3 of you. 1, 2, 3. You can have one. You're doing this one. Now I'm going to call it a break because, well, I need to order food. I've got Woman and Phoning in 20 minutes. And Path of Exile comes out, so I need to be alive and good and all of those things in time. So I'm going to thank you for joining me today. I enjoy doing this. At times it does become a little bit stressful in the sense of, not that it's hard work, but it's the pressure for me of being in front of people and being the centre of the attention is very awkward for me, and I do find it very, very hard. And so, you know, here we are, we've spent 3 hours doing this afternoon, and it's gone by pretty quick. But some days I'm really not kind of up for it. Some days I'm really, and I struggle with it, and especially when, you know, people aren't coming, and it's weird because some days there'll be like 9 of you and I'll be like, where did you all come from? And other days like today, there's 2 of you and there's basically been 2 of you for 99.9% of the stream. And I'm pretty sure both of you are asleep. So it is one of those weird things for me is that, and I know I've said this before, is half me doesn't know why any of you come because it's hardly a spectator sport. But at the same time, when some of the people who get thousands of viewers are certainly no more entertaining than this, I feel slightly let down that, I can't even make double figures as a reliable thing. Hey Bailey, it's not a dig directly. I mean, you come and to be honest, I don't know why. But I appreciate you coming, and it's nice, and it's, and I know I do the same. I stick people on streams and then kind of AFK a little bit sometimes because while I'm doing something else, and it's like putting the film on in the background. I have no idea what's happening in the film. It's just noise in the background, and I'm as guilty as that as the next person. So with that in mind, I'm really grateful for everyone who comes. At the same time, there is a little tiny bit of me who wishes there were a few more of you. But at the same time, I also don't understand why any of you are here. So my poor little brain cell does struggle with it a bit. But I think sometimes, especially for the late night Saturday ones that I tend to do, I do feel a little bit bitterer when, I've stayed up, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and I've had like 2 people watch it. I could have had some sleep. The problem is I'm naturally a night owl. And staying up is easy, getting up early is not. And, well, next week I've got to get up early. And I can see, or I can feel it in the water, my boss is going to ask me about working in a couple of weekends' time. And it's going to be, no. Never done that before. I'm not comfortable doing that on someone's live stuff. No, sorry, I could screw that up. For some reason, in next to every database, in next to everything, you can just go, restore this database, and that's it. As long as the backup was good, that's it. That's your job over. Apparently in Oracle, you've got to fanny around with it, and I can't be doing with all of that, because you've got to do lots of things to make it work, and I know there's documentation on it, and I know I'm perfectly capable for I can type, but don't really want to. But my co-worker, who is the Oracle dude, is on holiday. He'll be kind of in an airplane at the time that they want this done, so he certainly will not be persuaded to do it. Because, well, duh. And can't say I overly want to either. Oh well. Anyway, we've got to the end of our first card. We have now basically, bar 1 or 2 holes, there's a couple, but the 10-inch mark was back there, so let me update my magic thing. Hang on, notepad, and update it to 10 inches. There you go. Oops, did I say 20? No, I'm not that fucking lucky. Come on. There you go. So, we have made it to double digits. We still have a really long way to go, but we have made it into double digits. We should feel pleased with ourselves. So, and obviously we've got the best part of 7 inches rolled up here at the back. Yeah, let me slide it forward a bit for you. There you go. On the roller. So we've got a few inches curled up on the roller back there. I really do hope I've got enough string on every bobbin. It'd be really annoying to get down to like the last inch and, almost be trying to have to work it with tweezers or something. That would be really annoying. I, of course, have had more ideas about potential net curtain next, We're not even... Someone needs to shoot me in the head with a bolt gun sometimes. But I have thought of another thing we could do. Although that could be a little bit weird because it's quite modular in the sense of you can do this bit and then that bit and then join the bits together, and but at the same time it's also not, because let's say you make a motif in the middle, well, you can't really take it off because you need to join it in, so you need kind of a big area, which of course, excuse you, we do kind of have. You are full of mischief and annoyance. Did someone insert the annoying slot in you today? Miss Annoying Brown Dog. Yes, Rory, you sneeze. Oh. Hello. But it is time to go and get some dinner. Woman's going to phone in a minute. How exciting for me. Woman's going to phone and explain why she's moving house. And I shall be back late tomorrow, I believe. So, for those of you who can join me in about 29 hours, that'll be about right. Take care, everybody, and I shall see you tomorrow. Bye bye.